Hello, everybody. Welcome to Thursday Night Live with Bill Tucci.
Behold his mighty hand.
Tucci gang, Tucci gang, Tucci gang, Tucci gang, Tucci gang, Tucci gang, Tucci gang.
Just want to manage expectations.
Weird.
This is the worst. There's the bell, brother. How we doing?
Doing great, man. Doing great. Very excited for the show tonight.
I am too. I'm very excited about this.
And thank you, everybody, for joining us on this delightful Thursday evening. It's a nice fall evening. Fall is in the air, bro.
Got my pumpkin spice.
Do you really? Did you really get that?
No. It's not really pumpkin spice. This is just, it's just coffee, just a little guy coffee.
Oh,
no big deal. It's tasty, giving me that energy. But dude,
you're taking off first before that.
You're taking off, man. The Rocketeer coming to an end. We're going to be celebrating that tomorrow, the end of the campaign.
Yeah, for a little Rocketeer Kickstarter, we just unlocked a $20,000 stretch goal. First, thank you for helping to support that nice, that sweet little book. And it's a fun project, and we're going to be able to do some good with that and raise some money for a good cause. Right. So
yeah, and honoring a little, Mr. Stevens. You can't go wrong there.
Absolutely not.
Good old Dave Stevens. But tonight we're going to be kind of honoring a great creator as well, because we've got an amazing producer in the house. I know a longtime friend of yours, an amazing director who helped put together this awesome documentary, which is currently on Kickstarter. Yeah. And The Legend of Kingdom Come, the Alex Ross documentary. The link is below, everyone. So when you look in the description, you can click that Kickstarter link to check out the campaign. Back it. There's some amazing tiers. We'll talk a little bit about that with our guests tonight. And also in the live chat, our moderators will be posting that link there. So if you're watching on Twitter, you're watching on YouTube, make sure to look below, click that subscribe button, and smash that bell to get notifications when we go live like we are now, or when we upload some amazing new content. So Billy, without further ado, please let me know one of our guests tonight, and then maybe I'll say the other. Let's have a little fun.
Introduce my boy Sammy, Sal Abbinanti, the guru, the Alex Ross guru, if you will. Great friend of Alex's and a great guiding light and an all-around fantastic guy. One of the best guys in the comics industry. We've been friends for, gee whiz, man, over 25 years, maybe more, maybe 30 years.
For the guy.
And so, guys, Sammy, where are you, buddy?
There he is. Boom.
Billy,
hey, pal.
How are you, man?
What's going on, man?
Since you had, I remember you had the she booth and you had the motorcycle at the booth, and your mother was there working. That one.
Yeah, my mom was there yelling at me at the shows.
That's how long it was.
She's still around. She's 86. She came up here for the summer, wow. And she wants to do the show. She just stopped driving. So here's the thing: is that she's like, well, Billy. Because we bought her a car a few years ago, like maybe 3 years ago only. We bought her a car. We all chipped in and got her a nice car. And, she's selling the car. And I'm like, why? She goes, well, I almost hit somebody in the parking lot. I'm like, all right, that's it.
Right.
It's time. And so she goes, yeah, I hit the gas instead of the brake and I almost hit this woman. I'm like, oh, geez.
There you go.
All right, Marie. That's it.
Yeah, it's always somebody else's fault, too, with Italian mothers.
Yeah, exactly.
Their fault.
Yeah. And then, without further ado, everyone, let's bring it in. The man who put this together, the director himself. Everyone, please welcome Mr. Remsy Atassi.
What's up, guys?
What's up, Remsy?
Quite the party that you have in here. I like the energy.
Yeah, we have like that fun. We go about 45 minutes. We'll get down to it, share the campaign, talk about how this project came about, and just all the aspects of it. And let's see. It's a fantastic project, and you should be super proud of it, man.
Thank you.
I have to say, Billy, I'm talking. Thank you.
All right,
Thank you very
sorry.
much.
Excuse me. Hello.
From watching the trailers and I've even other video clips on social media, I mean, you really just pulled together, I mean, the who's who in comics, talking about Alex Ross, kind of the influence of his work, the relationships with him. So, we see those relationships. What I'd like to know, kind of right off the bat, for those that aren't familiar, I mean, Remsy and Sal, I mean, how did this project come to be? How did you guys get connected together in this project?
We started creating content for the channels, for the social media stuff for Alex about 7 or 8 years ago. And I just reached out to Remsy kind of here in town. He's a director here in town through some random contacts that I found. We started shooting stuff right away. And then, sitting with Alex, shooting YouTube stuff and that kind of thing. And then we just always felt we wanted to just continue to do stuff that was more ambitious. So it just eventually we knew we wanted to do something a little tighter and do a documentary or something. Originally, it was going to be just about Alex, but then that kind of was a little sour. So then we pivoted and thought, hey, I know where the bodies are buried with all the Kingdom Come stories. So I said there's some cool stuff there that we could do kind of a behind the music type of thing, and it went from there.
Yeah, and a question though, and what I'm sure everybody was. So, Remsy, how real are we going to get? Because I've heard things about this project that I'm sure we all have. Are we going to get into any of those things? Any of the? I mean, it was a Herculean task.
Yeah,
I'm sure your film is well, but
I don't. It's not. I wouldn't say it's contentious in the sense that we're trying to, throw anybody under the bus or anything like that. But we go into a lot of detail about the book. And I think also, the film is for the fans. Absolutely. And we unearthed like thousands of sketches and reference photos and images from the time. I mean, Sal had this stuff kicking in his basement and he spent like a week just scanning this stuff, like 12 hours a day scanning on his scanner. And so, it's definitely for the fans. Like to your question, about the background, like I was into comics, but I definitely came more so like Sal and Alex brought me like deep into this world with these guys. Yeah. And so it's this project and my relationship with them has been my kind of portal into the comics. And so from my standpoint as a filmmaker, I thought it was really interesting, like as I would learn so much about the story, how it was made at that time, what was going on in the 90s, what was going on with comics and the history of these characters. And I thought I wanted to tell that story too, because, for the diehards, they know that. But if you don't, I think it gives a really great context to KC and you can kind of see why it's such an important book. And we knew that we wanted to show the art. I mean, that's kind of what it was really about for us. It's not, I would say there's nothing truly controversial in here. But there's definitely a lot of stuff I think people haven't seen before.
Excellent. Now, Sal, how long have you been working with Alex?
27 years. 20.
Okay.
Yeah, we knew each other in the 90s. We worked at Leo Burnett together. We were both in advertising. We were storyboard artists. Yeah. And then he asked me right around 99, 2000 to if I could help him out. And I was like, do you want to fight Apollo Creed? And I said, no, I don't want to help you out, because he wanted me to be his art dealer. And Billy, you remember what the art dealers used to be like. They had the shit thrown in Tupperware bins laying on tables. And if you asked a question, they were all pissed off, and it was thrown like garbage. So I said, Alex, I don't want to be one of those guys, but if you want to do this, we got to do it in a modern way and get a website. And Alex said, no, I don't want to be on the computer. It's the machines and they're taking over. And who knew he was right? But that was in 2000. And then I figured I'd get a couple of years out of it. I'm like Ringo. And then here I am.
Still banging the drum.
Golden handcuffs, is what I like to call it. Got bit by a vampire, and here I am.
So now, did you have to? So over the years, because I know Remsy was saying that you went down, you were 12 hours a day scanning things like that. a lot of the artwork that he did for that series, were you able, was a lot of it already in Alex's possession, or over the years have you brought
No,
some?
he has very little. I mean, Billy, you remember they had auctions and Billy had some, and people, it was gone. Alex gave a lot of it away to friends that helped, and they all sold it. Everybody sold it. Yeah. Oh yeah. Everybody. And when I say everybody, I mean everybody sold it.
And probably too soon.
We were able,
probably.
he kept the covers. He kept a few things, but overall, we were able to get some really good scans and have a lot of high-res files that we were able to use. And then the prelims and the pencils and all of Alex's reference stuff, we were able to scan. So we were great. We had a lot of good stuff to work from, but the originals themselves are in the wind.
That one of our most prized possessions, our most cherished possessions in our house is when Alex painted a huge she for me with your wife pose, actually.
Yeah, that's my wife. Yeah.
And it's in our family room. I couldn't imagine, getting a gift from someone like Alex Ross and then selling it. It's like
it's just one of those things. Yeah. Easy come, easy go.
Yeah.
There's hard times in comics, Billy.
I know. Hey, man.
There's hard times.
I had Rosettas I sold,
Sirens on eBay.
Yeah. So you didn't have to go out and research, you didn't have to go out, and did you reach out to any collectors that you knew had any pieces that you're like,
not really?
No.
I mean, I knew some collectors that had some, and I have some, that he'd given me over the years, because I was Captain Marvel, so he gave me some of the Captain Marvel stuff. But we were able to we were lucky. We had DC scans and Warner Brothers scans of the double page spreads and the covers and things like that. And through some of the software that Remsy had, we were able to literally take pages and go from off of printed stuff. So we had the new software is amazing. Not to print,
enhanced a lot,
but for film, you can enhance printed stuff really well now, and with the software.
Yeah.
Now, so how did I'm sorry, but so Remsy, so Sal, you reached out to Remsy about wanting to make some kind of a film about this, or to about Alex's work?
It started just content, Billy. It started to do stuff for YouTube and do stuff for Instagram, and to shoot clips of Alex talking about his process, about the product we're going to have at certain shows, just basically business related content of Alex talking of, showing his, we did it for Sienkiewicz as well. And then it just started to get a little boring. And Remsy and I always had kind of wanted to do stuff more ambitious. So we sat down and we're like, let's do a doc. We got great. We made a lot of momentum on the documentary, and then we hit COVID and we had to put it on ice for 2 years. And then but then when we were coming out of COVID, we lost a lot of momentum coming out of COVID. We're like, look, we got to get this thing done. And in some ways, COVID was a blessing because it allowed me to kind of foster together more money, because I didn't have any investors. I didn't have any, Netflix deal or any bullshit like that. This was just, I didn't want anybody standing over my shoulder telling me how to do it. So I put my money in, and I just thought, hey, let's roll the dice and see what happens.
Oh, so you guys are like about 5 years into this?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we started, we had conversations, before even, I think the first kind of, when I was working on this content, I kind of knew, I right away, I thought Alex would just be like, again, as a filmmaker, like an amazing subject for a documentary. You see him work, you don't even have to be a comic person. That was kind of why I knew. I was like, you don't even have to be a comic person to see what he's doing, and you kind of get it, and you watch him work. It's amazing. So I was like, this would be great. I think figuring out exactly what we're going to do took some time, but we had treatments in like 2018, 2019, outlines and stuff like that. But like Sal said, it was right when we were really about to get going. We kind of got a little derailed. And then I think in 22 was when we kind of picked it back up. We shot more with Alex. We shot with Mark, and we kind of went from there.
Yeah. Now, does DC Comics have any involvement in this documentary, or is it all on your own?
They gave us their blessing. They signed off on it. We signed a legal boilerplate with them 5 years ago. But yeah, no, thankfully everything's cool with them legally, because you can't really go outside the reservation once, even though it's Alex's, Kingdom Come is his. He doesn't own Superman. He doesn't own Kingdom Come. So we had to go through DC, at least not financially, but to get their permission, so to speak.
That's cool, man.
Yeah,
it's really neat, and I'm gonna bring up this campaign here because I'd like to show everyone. This is over on, like I said, guys, this is on Kickstarter. So, ladies and gentlemen out there that are watching this live, watching this recorded, again, the link for this is below in the description. It's in the live chat. Head on over to Kickstarter. You can honestly just type in Alex Ross. This comes right up. It's really incredible. And I don't know if you guys mind. I know it's a couple minutes, but if we could play the campaign video for everyone.
Yeah, go for it.
We fell a great star from heaven, and I beheld and heard an angel.
Kingdom Come is 4 separate issues, 48 pages apiece.
It blew people away. I mean, this was the most sought after book there was.
No one had seen anything like that at that scale before.
It was amazing.
I'm Sal Abbinanti, the producer of The Legend of Kingdom Come.
And I am Remsy Atassi. I am the director and editor of the film. So The Legend of Kingdom Come, what is it?
It's the story behind the making of this perennial graphic novel.
So we've been working on this film for about 5 years, which is a long time. And it's kind of a story about comics. It's a story about how comics are made and the history of comics told from the lens of this legendary graphic novel. Why are we doing this project on Kickstarter?
Well, what we discovered from working with Kickstarter in the past was there's a tremendous opportunity to reach the independent comic book reader, the indie filmmaker, the indie audience in general, the creator directly to the consumer. And so we felt, hey, if we're going to do this, we wanted to reach the independent market.
So the film is mostly complete. The Kickstarter is going to be what helps us finish it and deliver it to you guys. And the final film should be coming to you first through Kickstarter in early 2025.
Yeah, and through Kickstarter, you'll be able to access the film before anybody else.
We have a lot more plans for the film, but this is going to be a way to get an exclusive run of Blu-rays that we're doing for the movie, as well as a bunch of posters and other cool rewards that you'll be able to find below. So if you like films, if you like documentaries, if you like Alex's work, if you like Kingdom Come, if you love comics, this is the film for you. We tell a big story, and we're really excited to be able to bring it to you on Kickstarter.
It would weigh on us the way it would be perceived, but I always had this sense of like, oh, I'm making a legend right now.
That's an excellent video, man. You can tell you're a director, Ramsey.
Thank you.
Now,
So, ain't got somebody knows what they're doing, Billy.
Yeah, right.
you have a whole team, like an editing team and stuff like that? Or, okay.
Yeah. So I have an editor who worked with me on the film. I mean, I edited it myself, but I have an assistant editor who was kind of in the whole process. And then we have an animation studio that we brought in because we did there's like over 150 animated shots that we did in certain ways. Some are more kind of 3D and some are more 2D. And then, brought in, teams for all the finishing and the color and the sound and the music. And so it's definitely a team effort and the production team and all that. So yeah, it's kind of, it takes an army to do something like this.
Yeah.
And you guys are doing very well here.
Oh, it's phenomenal. It's a monster and well deserved.
We're grateful.
It ain't cheap.
We're blown away.
You put that right. You put that goal there. Like this is what we need, but you really need more anyway.
I don't know if I'll ever be whole, Billy.
Yeah.
You will be in your heart. For all the fans out there that'll be watching this.
I'll be 30% short of a quarter for a while,
Yeah. Now, Ramsey, in regards to this is such this is a perennial, like you said, this is a legendary epic adventure in comics. It's one of those projects that turns a page in comics history.
Yeah.
And I heard the music. The music sounds fantastic too. But I figured something like this, you're going to need a great heroic score. How do you go about finding the score? to fit for this? What's the process for that to actually?
Well, I work a lot with my brother. Actually, he's a really amazing composer, writer, and so I have another narrative film that I did called Bad Animal that we shot that in 2019 and released it in 22. And so he basically is kind of the ringleader. He brings in a bunch of people, but yeah, we had. He brought in a really amazing, he's like a classical arranger. And so we worked on a bunch of themes, and then we did these kind of big orchestral arrangements and stuff. So yeah, the music's something we're really serious about. I mean, I'm a lifelong musician. We love music. And so it's an all original score. And yeah, I mean, it turned out great. I think that's one part I'm really excited about. In a film like this, it's like, the music is maybe a little more in the background, I guess, in a sense, because it's kind of an underscore, but but it's ripping.
Okay. Hey, Sal, I'm going to ask this question. So Comics Legend asks, he goes, will the name of backers also be in the thank you section of the Blu-ray credits screen?
We can't put everybody in there because we've got some kind of legal guidelines from DC that say we can't just put everybody in the credits. So we have certain people with certain tiers, like associate producer credits we can put in and things like that. But it just gets to be really messy when you want to put everybody's name in the credits. So
we are doing a thank you on the website.
Yes.
And that's going to be, I think, just $5. That's our lowest tier. So if anybody, just wants to follow along and get their name up there, definitely that's a way to do it. And I would say too, we've been really focused on getting the campaign off the ground, but I mean, anybody who's just even interested in this project, I get it. I mean, times are what they are. And so if you can even just share it or help us get it out there, send it out to your newsletter or whatever, anybody, who's into this project, that's a huge, I mean, we're not begging, but we're begging, and anybody who can draw, we want to draw attention to the project, what I mean?
Yeah.
Does when you go into it, are we going to actually see how Alex developed the idea, where he came up with the idea for it, roughs, things like
the
picture
right from the beginning, Billy. I mean, literally from when we were sitting at the bar, and it's his original sketches, his original layouts, his original thumbnails, up until the point where how he got the idea. The 90s, you remember how comic business was in the 90s, how, the Return of the Dark Knight and Mouse and Watchmen kind of set the table for what was coming in comics in the 90s. From his, Alex isn't shy about talking about this because this is his baby, all the way to when he brought in Mark, to when he started to, I'm going to start painting. And then he brought in who his inspirations were for the models and the characters and all the way to the campaign for when they wanted to promote it and when he went to DC with it. So yeah, everything from soup to nuts is in there.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
I love what you guys.
That's important, was to show.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to look. No offense to Marvels and no offense to any of the other things Alex did, but whenever we do a signing or we have an event, 2/3 of the fan base is there with Kingdom Come for Alex to sign. That's his. It's his baby. It's like you with She, Billy. Yeah. No matter what else you do, that's what you're going to be defined as. That's kind of your brand. And Kingdom Come for Alex is his thing. So we felt, hey, take us through it. The fan base wants to see that. So okay, here it is. Tell us all the stories and tell us what your inspiration was all the way up to the finish.
Yeah. And I love what you guys put together. And I actually really appreciate a lot of the tiers you guys put together, because you've got digital levels, right? You've got physicals. So it really kind of meets like everyone's, wallet, so, they can get a digital film access for $30. I mean, that's very reasonable. Most stuff is digital and it costs $25-$30. And then you guys get into when you come to your physical media, looks like you really paid attention to, making the physical media a little more than just here's a Blu-ray. You know what I mean? You definitely added some other elements to that.
Well, we knew it was look, at the end of the day, Remsy and I just wanted to get the film to people. We wanted people to see the film. But then when from having done Kickstarter campaigns in the past, we realized that that indie market really loves that one-to-one relationship with the creators, to feel like there's no middleman, and they want all those types of options of stuff that they just can't get anyplace else. So we felt, okay, we'll give them all the bells and whistles, but at the end of the day, also the most basic is we just want you to see the film. So you could get, I didn't realize the Blu-rays were still popular. I mean, I thought that people, everything is digitally. I see my kids and it's all about their phones and their iPads and everything else, but people still love to have that physical copy of a Blu-ray. So we thought, okay, we'll give you different versions of it.
Yeah. Hey, so Sal, I'm sorry, Nile. Yeah, I see one of the levels right here is the Kickstarter exclusive comic book. What is that?
Well, because we've got a licensing arrangement with DC, we're able to produce variant covers, and so we put in with some of the other product that we put in for the year for our different variant covers that we produce for Alex Ross Art. We put in a couple of Kingdom Come ones, so they're exclusives. The guts are still. It's nothing new in the way of that, but they're exclusive Kingdom Come covers, exclusive Kingdom Come variants. And then Alex has been cool enough to say, yeah, sure, I'll sign them. So we offer signed stuff, unsigned, CGC, whatever it is. You know how it is. People want it from, some people are going to jump on this because they're collectors, some to see the film. Everybody's welcome. It's just it became one of those things where we wanted to please everybody in the way of the types of tiers we created, because some people, they want the basic package, other people want all that, those extra tiers.
Yeah. And there's add-ons too. There is an add-on for
tons of add-ons.
Kingdom Come as well. There's the Absolute Kingdom Come, which is an add-on. It's not even tiered there, but if you make a purchase, there's other add-ons. Plus, we have been rolling out extras, and we got more. So bonus items as the campaign's been going on. We just announced we got a couple of poster cards that are coming. That's just coming to everybody who backs the film at the physical level. And we got more. And part of that is going to be the kind of bonus features and stuff like that. We're keeping it behind the veil right now, but we're going to be rolling that out in the next week.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah. And everyone loves physical media. So, physical.
You do. Like, well, true collector. I mean, most people, I think, like, when you can get some form of physical media, it's cool to like be able to like have it and just be like, here it is.
Yeah.
Even though I also have it on streaming or digital, I still have a physical that's displayed somewhere. So what's the plan, guys, after the Kickstarter campaign? Is this going out to, are you looking at retail services for this? Will they just be purchasing off a website?
We're gonna see. I mean, we're listening. We have a few things in the works possibly, but right now it's just all about the campaign. Right now it's all about delivering the product exclusively to the Kickstarter backers. And like we said, early 2025. And then when we get there, we'll worry about the next step when we get there. But there's nobody standing over our shoulder right now. I don't have any meetings with a guy with his feet up on the table with the cigar. I'm not sitting.
Hey there, Sally boy.
I'm not putting on my false eyelashes and sitting by the pool, with Vanna White. I'm just trying to get this thing out the door in one piece. And order fulfillment, is everything.
Yeah.
Getting everybody their orders.
Yeah. And we got a great team for that. We got a great
Kickstarter. You know how it is, Billy. You don't get a second chance. They'll come looking for you if you.
Yeah, you got to deliver.
You got to deliver. Yep. So,
but you said you said you don't have the guy behind the big desk with the cigar, but I could have sworn I heard Jimmy Palmiotti in that voice.
Jimmy's a great guy, but Jimmy, no, he's got his own problems. He's got his own problems. You
want me to give you a quote?
Right. Everybody's got something to say. We wanted today. Yeah. I mean, it worked out great. We got some. There were some people that we wanted that it didn't work out. COVID destroyed any momentum we had to reach out to people. And so we were I'm more grateful for who we got and less about who we didn't get. But yeah, Jimmy and Amanda were terrific. They were, we caught them at a con, and they put aside a couple hours for us, and we're terrific.
So how many industry people did you guys end up interviewing for this in total?
We had about 30 interviews. Some are featured a little more prominently than others, and runs a big gamut. A lot of creators, folks who we have in there, also, obviously Mark and Alex, who are the main guys. but a lot of other great creators, people from the time. We got some people to talk about kind of history of comics. We got we had John Suntrys. We were talking to him the other day, and he gave us some great stuff, and among other people. And then we talked to a lot of fans. Honestly, some really great scenes that we did. I mean, we went to one. There was a group that we found in Chicago. They do a comic meetup because that's where we're based out of. And we went, and they did a reading, like a meetup group where they did a reading, and there were discussion on Kingdom Come. And it was just like, it was a bunch of people. They were like so hyped. And it was a real group. Like, it wasn't contrived. They actually do this like every week. And so that kind of stuff, like, we wanted to show it all the way from the beginning to the end. And then the kind of rise of comics. I mean, I think this book was really important, and it's been really influential, especially when you put it in the context of now. It's like comics are such a huge part of pop culture, which they really weren't in the same way back then. I mean, it's like the dominant form of pop culture with the movies and all that. Yeah. So we try to tell the whole story, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I got to tell you, I remember when this came out, and it was, 96, right? I guess 96.
Yeah. I remember seeing you at the 4-Color Gallery.
Yeah. Yep. And that's a fun story.
You came with your motorcycle. I remember.
Yeah. Yep. I sure did. And I bought the double page spread from Kingdom Come #4 of them all fighting with you.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. That double page spread. And I don't want to say how much I paid for it, but Alex called me up the next day because he wasn't there, I don't think. And he was mad at me for buying it because from the gallery, because he would have sold it to me for half the price.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I'm helping you. You know, are you kidding me? This is a gorgeous piece of artwork, you know? And, but I mean, he's such a genuine person. He's such a good person. And like you said, he's so good to his friends. He's very loyal. And it's such a testament to his character. And, you know, just again, if you talk to him, he has this, you know, he's almost like a kid of the 50s, you know, like this.
Oh, yeah.
This awe of good and right versus wrong. And he really is like Superman, you know, his whole, right, Sammy? Like his
like
whole.
Well, that's a lot of, you know, that's a lot of what, when people ask about, you know, where, you know, because you remember what was going on in comics in the 90s. It was crazy. You had the Image years, and you had a lot of crazy stuff, and you had a lot of independent publishers popping up. But Alex's take was always Superman. He always felt Superman was like John Wayne, and everybody had said that he's not cool anymore. Superman wasn't cool anymore. And Alex was like, no, he is. You guys haven't treated him the right way.
Right.
So he proved it. It's like, no, if you can do something cool with Superman, he's the guy. He's Mount Rushmore of superheroes. And that's why he felt it was important. And I think that's why Kingdom Come spoke to such a degree, and we're still talking about it now, is that it spoke to the DC readership of like, no, he's their guy. I mean, yeah, you got everybody, you got a million different characters now, but at the end of the day, that entire DC universe goes through Superman. And that was always Alex's favorite character.
Yeah. It's interesting with a character like Superman is that so many writers don't get him, you know, that they just like you were just saying, they write him wrong. Either they have him fucking crying all the time, you know,
or you remember they gave him a ponytail and then they killed him. They turned him into a cyborg. They did a million different things with him in the 90s. And Alex was like, wait a minute, you know, and Image, everybody had all the pockets and everybody had a big gun. And everybody's like, well, wait a minute, this guy doesn't need a gun. I mean, they even gave the Hulk a gun. And I was just like, well, wait a second. So Alex went back to the beginning and said, no, this is still the guy.
Yeah.
And that, I think that's what spoke to the DC readership, which has been kind of what felt slighted for a lot of years.
Yeah. You know, what's interesting is, I'm sure you guys all know, in what is it, 2028, Action Comics #1 goes into public domain.
Yeah.
And all these people, there are a lot of people working on Superman things. The one Superman book you'd want to see would be by Alex Ross, to take that issue and that whatever is it, you know, because it's very, a lot of legalese there. You can only use, right, Sam? You can only use what's in the book. Yeah. You can only use, right? So
it's only what's in that physical book, and likeness and whatnot. Anything beyond that is still copyrighted.
Right. But could you see Alex Ross doing that? Oh my God.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying. I keep pushing him to do more DC stuff, but he's kind of busy with all the Marvel stuff right now. But I keep pushing him because I know that's what he likes to do. And at the end of the day, I say, Alex, you need to speak to what, as a creator, really what excites you, because we're getting to the age where you got kids and it's not even about the trappings anymore. It's about what makes you happy. So I said, Alex, what do you really want to do? And I know it's Superman. So
what if he was like, I want to be an ice skater, Sal?
Right. I wanna.
They're like, oh, this backfired.
Right.
No, he's still in the studio every day.
That's it. That's all he does. I mean, he's a machine. I mean,
he captured, though, just an amazing. I remember when I first saw that book, right? For me, I think it was probably like 1998 or 1999 when I first saw it, and I looked through it, and with DC, right? You kind of, those characters are much older than a lot of characters we have from Marvel and stuff. And even if like the ones that are close in age or been around, we just don't know them from the golden age as much. But the way he captures the spirit of the DC characters, like Billy, you're like, he's like a good old 50s boy or something. But the way he took that, it's like he took that spirit of like the golden age and what they wanted, but he brought it into like a modern masterpiece of these oil.
Well, his take has always been, and it was the same way with Marvel, where he's like, look, you're going to go back to the original designs anyway. So why do you want me to do your new version of Doc Doom when you're going to go back to the Kirby Doc Doom? I know you are. So he's like, I'm only doing the classic versions. I'm not doing the movie versions. I'm not doing whatever he looks like now. I'm doing the iconic versions. And that's his only real criteria, his only real demand. And I tell them that. I go, guys, he's not going to do Boba Fett version of Batman. He's only going to do like the classic version of Batman. And if there's a problem with it, let me know now, because he's not going to do it. And so it usually works out.
Yeah. We got an interesting question here. I don't even know if you can answer this, Sal. This might be more of a question for Alex. It says, it's clear that Alex Ross is a legendary artist working on Marvel and DC, but is Alex interested in creating his own superheroes?
Yeah. We've been talking about it for 20 years. He's got an entire Alex Ross universe we've talked about, but Alex he'll you know how it is. You'll float with moments where you want to do something, but then he just feels that at the end of the day, the fan base doesn't want that. They want to see him do a certain thing. So I think it's timing. I think when the timing is right, he knows he's going to have to sit down and take a lot of time to do it, but there's still a lot of stories he wants to tell with DC and Marvel.
Yeah.
But I've seen many, many, many designs of not just a character, but an entire universe that he wants to unleash. And we've talked about it here and there, and then we tend to pivot and go towards something else.
Yeah, it just as Nile and I have talked, we've done how many shows? Almost 800 shows.
Oh, we're over 800.
We're over 800, Jimmy.
Yeah,
869.
God bless you guys.
Wow.
Yeah, and we have it's fun.
And our three audience members are fantastic.
Very impressive.
Yeah. So and this is our hangout. This we just like to have fun, we've gotten a lot of people want us to promote it more, but like you said, that's just another thing, man, to do.
I
just want to hang out, and get some backers for the people that come on to our show and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that. And but speaking of that, of just another thing to do, what you said about Alex, and he's so smart, and I'm sure he's very content in life that he gets up, right, does family stuff, whatever, and then goes to the drawing board.
That's it.
That's it. And paints, like what a life. Like me, I spent the better part of today promoting the book, writing press releases, writing updates, going with my wife, fulfilling books, blah, 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 with all the things that we do. And I'm like, and I just started drawing like 2 hours ago myself now, so I'm like,
yeah,
I mean, he ain't stupid doing that. I think that's if you can afford to do it.
Anytime we talk about stuff, you do it.
Yeah.
That's why he doesn't go to cons. People get mad at me, or they're constantly like, whoa, he doesn't like the fans. He doesn't love the fans. Why isn't he here? And it's like, Alex is like, look, he just wants to paint. I'm like, guys, look around the booth. Does he look like he doesn't love comics? Like he doesn't love his fans? I mean, he's he's not a knock around guy like that. He doesn't like to hang out, and he just wants to focus on his work and do his thing. And that's kind of why, you know, we have this relationship. I'm the Silver Surfer, and then I have to take care of Galactus. You know,
it's the perfect analogy.
You want to deal with Galactus, you can't. You got to have the little guinea on his eye rock flying around.
A blue one. It's got to be a blue one.
Sal is the master. He is the master.
That's how if you're like, well, Sal, I don't want to talk to you. I want to talk to Alex. It's like, well, okay, great. Well, then guess what? It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
That's just how it is. Yeah. You know, he's not that kind of guy. He's not going to, you're not going to run into him at the bar and say, hey, let's do a shot. He's not that guy. You know?
Yeah. Well, you look at the amount of work that he puts out and the amount of work he puts into his work. Like
that's all he does.
That's all maybe Adi Granov, you know, Joe Juska, a few guys that are actually do that sort of, that really, you know, that are all encompassing, you know, with fully realized painted pieces of work, covers and interiors and things like that. And because he doesn't shot, you know, he puts in the damn work.
When people, there's always a new one. Every couple of years, there's always hey, this guy's the next Alex Ross, and somebody will ask me or somebody will show me, and I say, guys, there really isn't going to be another Alex Ross because nobody's willing to work as much as he does. He is so obsessive with it, and that's all he was a savant. I mean, when I met him, he put marbles out when he was 19 years old. So, and when I met him, Billy, we were friends first. And I remember I talked to him, and he was the only artist that I ever talked to that ever said this, like with straight conviction. I said, Alex, what was your plan B if it didn't work out? You know, like if you weren't able to make a success at being a comic artist, what were you going to do? And he's like, oh no, I always knew I was going to be successful as an artist. He goes,
like, I'm too good, Sal. Come on.
He never blinked. He looked at me and he's like, I always knew this was going to happen. Yeah. So he had conviction from the jump. And when I saw his samples for Marvels, like I said, he was 19 years old. I said, I don't know if the comic world is ready for this. When I saw his Silver Surfer and I saw Galactus on top of the building, and I said, I don't know if they're going to take painted comics, but man, there's something here that's kind of Norman Rockwell-esque.
Yes.
The newness scares the shit out of people. When people say, hey, I want something new. Well, when you give them new, it kind of shocks the shit out of them. So
yeah,
you know, I knew he was onto something, but until Marvels blew up, then it was like, okay, here we go. But then he never looked back. He took it,
and he's not stepping back. I mean, that's he's working just as hard now. I mean, that's the thing.
Absolutely.
Like, he's just as passionate about this stuff when you talk to him now. And that's, you know, a part of what we tried to do with the content and you know, that we've been working on with him is to be able to bring it to the fans. Cause he is more of the guy behind, you know, he's the man behind the desk, but the doc as well is like really trying to give people a little bit more of a look at the artist, because people are, you know, they're ravenous for it or to see him work, you know?
Yeah. Hey, Remsy, I know that you're dealing with, there's a lot of interviews in it. Like you said, you have like up to 30 interviews plus Alex. In it, but and you said you had a treatment. Is there any sort of narrative script? I know you said you had a treatment, but do you have any kind of script or storyboards? Did you do anything like that with it, or you didn't? Have
you know, we kind of worked off the treatment. I would say we didn't really have a script. I mean, I think that's part of what makes the post-production process take a long time with documentaries. I mean, there's not a narrator. It's really kind of guided by Alex, and we knew the beats that we wanted, but as you're cutting it, sort of things emerge that are more or less interesting, or sometimes you go way down the rabbit hole with editing a story in, and then it's like it's a really interesting story, but maybe you lose momentum or the way that things are structured. I would say, you know, we had a treatment and an outline, but most of what we had is stuff that we got, but in the end, the structure of it changed a lot. I think just when you're editing, you know, you look at the first cut and it's like, okay, a lot of things aren't working, some things are. And so that's been kind of the iterative process. But no, it never really got drilled down to a script. We work off the treatment, and then, you know, we do all the I conduct the interviews, and then we get transcripts, and we work through it that way.
Man, it had to be about the art, Billy. That was pretty much the DNA of the doc was I said, look, we got to show people who've never seen Kingdom Come and don't know anything about comics, show them the artwork. And they'll understand why we made a doc about this. And that was kind of what I told Remsy. I said, yeah, we have to have a narrative. And you could have made a doc just about the comic business in the 90s. I mean, there was so much there of what was going on. It was crazy with all the, all the crazy buying and all the indie companies and all the, all this stuff was, that the comic business was on its head. But yet, so we had sort of a backstory, but I said at the end of the day, that's where we wanted to put a lot of our resources in the animated clips to show, no, this is really why we're still talking about this, is because of Alex's book and because of Alex's content and his compositions and his double page spreads and the scope of how many characters, and he redesigned all those characters. So we really wanted to dive into a lot of that.
Yeah. Right. And that's the good stuff to dive into. Cause I've got my own little Plex server thing. I've got my own multimedia stuff, and I have a section that I call inspiration. And in that is like documentaries. And sometimes when I'm feeling like a little like, oh, I just can't get inspired. Sometimes I go through there and I watch some of these documentaries and you kind of get like jazzed up, fired up. And I feel like that's what a lot of people could get from this. Like you said, it kind of, I feel like we're going to feel that drive that you guys have been talking about, that like, the passion that this man has for the work that he does, where he's probably able to do it because in his life, it probably is like, I'm doing something I love, so therefore it's not really a job, right?
It was important. I mean, there was really two, there was, when we finished it and Remsy and I felt we had something, because there was a few versions that were kind of long, and there were a few versions that just weren't, they needed to be tightened up. We had to take out some good stuff, but it still came down to, if Alex didn't like it, or if it was like, holy shit, because his father's in it, his father's Norm McKay. I mean, the main narrator, the main, structure with the Spectre in the book is Norm McKay, his father, who was a real life minister. So we had to get him. Yep. And his father passed away during COVID, and he was almost 100 years old. So there's a lot of stuff in there that would, it's a tremendously personal book for Alex. So when Remsy and I finished it, I was like, yeah, I know we got a good film, but I gotta run it by this. If Alex doesn't sign off, it's going to break, it's going to break his heart. It's going to break my heart, because we're not just, I don't work for Alex. We're partners. And I really a lot of motivation for this was made by, I wanted to make a great film about this for him. And so when he finally was like, you got it. Thank you. He said, thank you, which he never does. He said, thank you. Because we got that kind of relationship where it's always like, hey, Jagoff, what happened? And what the I'm done. Take it easy. Relax. What? And then, you want my version, or do you want to hear the bullshit version? And then, when he kind of signed off, and he had a few, hey, what about this? What about that? And some of it we were able to amend, and some of it just didn't fit the narrative at the time. We couldn't go back and recut the whole film. Right. But at the end of the day, Alex is like, okay, you got it. That was like a huge, relief, because I can't go out there and have a documentary about Zsa Zsa Gabor and not talk about Green Acres. I mean, I can't do it. It just,
great show.
No way. I mean,
I think you'll find with what you said now, that I found really interesting. I hadn't really thought about it like that, from like the standpoint of like, something that's inspirational, but I 100% think you will get that from this. It's very much about what it takes to make something great, and sort of the relentless kind of dedication. And I think like the possibilities. I mean, I think that's like the carrot and the stick. It's like, if you're a creator of any kind, it's like, you gotta find that motivation in yourself, or draw it from somewhere. And for Alex, I think it comes from his love of these characters, but also, I mean, he's got that engine of creativity that's just nonstop. Yeah. So that's, I think, and truthfully, I think that does hit a general audience. I mean, I think that works for whether you like comics or whatever, even if you're not interested in comics, because it's a cool story.
Yeah. Will you guys be exploring going back into the past of like Alex as a child's artwork? Will we see any of that stuff?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, we kind of tell a bit. I mean, it's you know, Cliff Notes version of his backstory, but definitely, and we show. I mean, he was very inspired by his mom actually, who was an illustrator.
His mother, Lynette, was an
Yeah,
illustrator. Yeah,
and we found some of her art, and we were able to show it. And she did like a very realistic kind of painterly kind of thing. So he was very, and she went to, I think she went to the same school he did, right?
Yeah, Sal? American Academy. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. So there's a lot of. And then his dad's in the book, so it is. I mean, it's very. This book is very personal for him, and I mean, he had a huge career. I mean, he was a known entity, but I think after Kingdom Come, he not just elevated himself, but I mean, the whole game of comics and comics as fine art. People talk about that a lot. I mean, everyone we talk to, because it was like that whole market just kind of went into the stratosphere, following this.
Sure did, 100%. Randy Howell has a question here, guys. How does the digital film access tier work? Is it a download? If it is a Netflix-like streaming connection, the quality would depend on one's bandwidth. Is that true? I guess.
Yeah, I can answer that. Yeah, so it's going to be hosted on legendofkingdomcome.com. We got a platform that we've built out, so it's going to be self-hosted, and so it is going to be a streaming link. It's not a download, and the reason for that is because this is really going to be the way that we deliver between this and the Blu-ray. We were kind of talking about this earlier, but we don't know what we're going to do with the film after this. It's kind of a little bit still up in the air. We want to give people a really good experience. So we've actually worked really hard, and the platform's already built how we're going to deliver it. And it's really a great experience. It's got a member portal, and you can go and you can watch the film there. You'll have, access in perpetuity on that platform. We don't know where it's going to go after this. The truth is, if you're not on that platform with the digital access, or you don't have the Blu-ray, it may be another year before you're going to be able to watch the movie, because these things take time. We don't know. We have plans and we've had conversations, but as far as where it's going to go next, we don't know. So this is really like, if you want to support the film, if you want to be first in line to see it, this is how you do it on Kickstarter.
Yeah. Well, what's great about this, and what's good for you guys, is once it is out and there's a copy, the Netflixes of the world, they're going to get their hands on it. Right. Someone's going to see it. This will go somewhere. It's Alex Ross. I mean, if Curiosity Stream wants to do it, or there's so many streaming platforms out there for, like, even just documentaries. I mean, there's going to be a deal for this for you guys. Assuming you may still work with him still, Sal, is there going to be a Sienkiewicz documentary by any chance? If this is successful,
what do you think? What do you think? Right now, it's all about Kingdom Come. It's like, which is my favorite kid? Of my two kids.
Yeah,
don't know nothing about it.
We consider this a success. Frankly, the enthusiasm and the support.
Yes.
Like we're still rocking it, and we got a long way to go.
It's something that right now it's all about Kingdom Come. But moving forward, yes, if this works out and this seems to be something that the fan base wants and something that we could turn into a product that people really, really want to see, then yes, of course, absolutely. I mean,
thank you, Randy. Sorry to interrupt. He said he backed. Thank you. We appreciate that, man.
Bill's a genius. So I think doing one about Sienkiewicz is another. That's a big job. But also, yes, I think absolutely.
Yeah. Do you want to, Nile, before we let them go, do you want to pull up the campaign?
Yeah, that's what I was about to do.
People are backing right now. I mean, thanks, guys. Obviously, people came out from this. Thank you.
I really do. Yeah, no, this is amazing. Because again, this is like our thing. You don't assume anybody. You can never assume anything. You never, can jump into this and go, oh yeah, it's Kingdom Come. They're gonna love it. It's Alex Ross. Yeah. Getting people liking something versus getting people to actually buy it and pay for it is a whole nother story. So I'm always appreciative from the $5 supporters to every tier. I never take any of it for granted. And then again, I don't sleep until all the order fulfillments are done, because these guys will hunt you down. I mean, they'll come knocking on your door, and I got to see all these guys at cons.
Yeah,
They'll come up to me at cons. I can't hide.
No, we're not going to let people down on that. We got a good. Yeah,
well, hey, man, what the hell happened? I didn't get all my bookmarks. And it's like, all right, here. And you got to be sure they get all their bookmarks and all their cards.
Yeah. Trading cards.
You know how it is, Billy. They'll come in and look for you, man. And they'll stop you at the bar and say, you know what I did back in 1972. And you're like, oh, my God. You know, I got the crabs from you when I was in college. And you're like, oh, shit.
Yeah. Hey, can I ask you guys this? Now, again, like you were saying, oh, it's Kingdom Come, but before you launched it, were you guys nervous? I mean, you put so much work into this film for so many years. Like, what was it like the day, like the morning you launched it, or right before you launched it? How were you guys feeling?
I wasn't. I think what held it together was I knew it was a good film. So if it didn't happen, it wasn't because we didn't do the work. Now, if we kind of mailed it in, or I looked back and thought, holy shit, we could have done a better job with this or a better job with that, then I could have said, man, you know, live and learn. But of course, oh God, yeah. I mean, I didn't sleep for days when we launched this because you were
Sal doesn't mess around. He doesn't mess around. I mean, he's
well,
put
and
a lot of effort
and also, you know how it is. I was waiting
that
for that 11th hour phone call of somebody going, "Hey, this is legal." You know, cease and desist, or blah blah blah, or guess what happened? You know,
and we were going to the last minute, truthfully, on all that stuff. We were going to the last minute on all that stuff.
Like literally, I could be the third monkey on Noah's Ark, you know, and have to go shit. You know, you got to get off the bridge. You know, it's like
the third monkey.
I love that.
But this has exceeded our expectations. I mean, we did not think we were going to be at this point in that where we are in the campaign right now. I mean, we had ambitions for it, of course, and we did a lot of work, not just on the film, but the campaign as well. We put a lot of effort into getting the campaign ready. But no, the enthusiasm has been unbelievable. We're so grateful for it. It's huge.
Yeah, well, we've had three backers since we went live, so hopefully more viewers that are gonna watch this recorded will back as well. And again, everyone, the link for this campaign is in the description below. If you're still watching live, it's been put in the live feeds. The mods have been adding the feeds in there. If you're watching on X, which I think most of the viewers are, head on over to YouTube or head on over to Kickstarter, come to our link, or you can just type in Alex Ross right in the search bar in Kickstarter. It comes up right there. Back it, share that you backed it, because that's what we like to do with these links, right, guys? We like to take these links, we like to share them, grab them, copy and paste them.
We're appreciative of every one of them, honestly.
Thank you, guys.
We don't take anybody for granted. You can't. I mean, it's just it's too important.
Yeah. Before we wrap up, if people are backing, why don't we play this trailer here? If that's all right with you guys.
Let's do it.
It's your show, man.
Well, I don't know if it's copyrighted. Am I going to get a strike?
It's not copyrighted.
And heard an angel.
I remember when The Dark Knight Returns came out. I remember when Watchmen came out. So, of course, I remember when Kingdom Come came out.
Kingdom Come is 4 separate issues, 48 pages apiece. It was an all-immersive kind of lifestyle for me.
It blew people away. I mean, this was the most sought-after book there was.
This was something very new, very different.
No one had seen anything like that at that scale before.
It was amazing.
I never thought from anything that people would still be talking about this book 25 years later.
There were voices and lightnings and thunderings. This was my dream.
What makes Alex Ross art stand out from the others is his approach to realism.
You think of a Superman, you're thinking of the Alex Ross Superman.
It almost looked like Renaissance paintings that we were told these were the masters. Alex was taking some of those techniques and applying them to superheroes.
1938, DC released the first issue of Action Comics, the magazine that introduced Superman.
It gives you motion, it gives you expression, all on like a little magazine that you can afford.
Comic art would abstract the human form in a way that was very inspiring to me as a young person, and something I would imitate for my whole life.
Wish fulfillment. This is power fantasy. If I just had the abilities to do these things and make the world a better place, I could do it.
He makes them look like real live superheroes. They look like Olympian gods.
You gotta have the balance of the eyes perfect. Let me tell you the story of Kingdom Come, page for page, panel for panel.
Was such a huge epic story,
the DC fans, when he did their favorite characters, and then they came back to save the world one more time, just minds blown.
I see a shot that is, I know, since it was like a pencil layout through final rendering, and then I see it on a bus ad or a poster or a shot setup, I'm going like, oh, totally. You totally see Alex's influence.
The way material folds the shadows, the angst of the character, the history of the character. I mean, he's like, Stellar Adler. He's the master class of how you approach comics. This is a true art form.
It would weigh on us the way it would be perceived, but I always had this sense of like, oh, I'm making a legend right now.
Can't wait to get my copy. I legit forgot we were streaming watching that. Like I just got I got so zoned in, and like Amanda Connor, when she's talking about like, he painted and drew them like, Olympic gods. And I'm like, I'm got goosebumps because then I'm like looking at, I'm like, oh my gosh, they're gods. It's like, this is, it's so good.
Man, it was great.
And the score, Remsy, it just,
they crushed it. They did amazing.
They did such a great job, guys.
Yeah. Thank you.
Incredible.
Well, we're excited for everybody to get it and check out the film. We can't wait to share with you guys. So thanks for all the support, everybody.
Cal,
thank you.
The Emerald cover.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Cal. Really appreciate it.
And thank you, fellas, for coming on. Aside from doing the Kickstarter, if you just search Alex Ross or The Legend of Kingdom Come, any other like cons where you're going to be?
We'll be in New York. We'll be at New York Comic Con at the Alex Ross booth with Bill Sienkiewicz. So yeah, come by and and I'll tell you a couple of Captain Marvel stories if you want.
There you go. Remsy, how about you? Any social media, anything like that you like to share about your studio?
Yeah. You guys can follow me, Remsy Atassi, my company, RA Imaging. You can find me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, all the things, X. And keep tracking the film. Like, we've got more stuff to come. I got my other film too, Bad Animal. You can check that out if you're interested. It's like a narrative feature, a bit different than this, but that's my last project. And this has been just an amazing collaboration, and I'm really excited to see where we go with it. So thanks, guys, for all the support. Thanks for having it on the show. This has been an awesome show. You guys run a great podcast.
I think, whenever I see Billy at shows, he's going one way, I'm going the other way. And then he's usually carrying so much shit, and I'm carrying, and then we usually just say hi, and that's it.
Yeah.
I think before you were telling me about your son going to Penn State, I think the last time I saw your son, he was in the stroller.
Probably, yeah. Probably. He goes to San Diego with us every year, but we don't see him. We force him to work at the booth, so then we can have a lunch or something like that. But he made friends. He's got these friends he made in San Diego like 3-4 years ago.
Yeah.
They came out after San Diego, stayed at my house for 2 weeks. These 2 kids, 2 weeks.
Wow.
They didn't even tell us. They're just like, yeah, we booked our flight for 2 weeks. We're like, what?
Yeah, no.
There's like kids in sleeping bags in your studio.
Yeah,
no, they were all in Matthew's room. We got blow up mattresses and all that crap for them.
Wow.
So.
Yeah.
All right,
awesome.
Guys. Thank you so much.
Remsy, Sal, thank you guys so much. It's been an honor.
Our pleasure, guys.
Can't thank you enough, guys. Appreciate
Congratulations on the success, and we're all looking forward to seeing The Legend of Kingdom Come.
All right. And hang tight, guys, as we wrap up. Hang backstage.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Hey everyone. Thank you for joining us on Pop XP. If you haven't already, make sure to click that subscribe button and also click the bell for notifications when we go live and we upload some awesome new content. Also, don't forget to head on over to Twitter and follow us at the Pop XP and over on Instagram at the Pop XP. Thanks again, everyone, and we'll